Hey everyone, welcome back to the Weekly Web Activist. It's your host Lydia, and this week's video is on local governments, voting, and activism. So in this video, I'm going to help break down to you guys and help inform you about city council and how it works, how teens can get involved with their Board of Education, city council, and all of the other governing bodies within their city and within their state and county. And then of course, how you can get involved in voting as well, and sort of the process for voting, especially with COVID-19. And then we're going to wrap the video up by talking about how activism is really related to these two subjects and how everything ties together in terms of social justice and using the avenues that are presented to us to make a difference within our local communities. And so it's going to be a great video full of information. Everything will be linked in the description below, so please check out all the resources that I give you. If you have any questions, make sure to comment them and I'll do my best to answer, or give you someone who can answer your questions for you. And hopefully you have applied for the Weekly Web Activist, become a member, or become an executive. We can't wait to read your responses, and we're really excited for you to be watching this video and for you to be part of the Weekly Web Activist family. So let's go. So this is just a short disclaimer. I live in Raleigh, North Carolina, and so all of my information is going to be specific to the Wake County, RDU, Raleigh area. But if you do live in another part of the state, or if you live in a different state, all of this information will still be applicable in some way. So make sure that you just stick around for that and sort of try to apply all of the tips and information that I give in this video to your local community. So since I live in Raleigh, North Carolina, I'm going to be talking about the Raleigh City Council first off. So the Raleigh City Council currently has 8 members, including the mayor. They have 2 members at large, and then they have 5 members that represent specific districts of Raleigh. And so a term on the Raleigh City Council lasts for 2 years. The term for mayor lasts for 2 years as well. And our mayor right now is Mary Ann Baldwin. She's been in office since 2019. And so if you go to their website, you can find out who your district member is specifically. If you live within Raleigh, just put in your address and they can let you know there below. I'm going to link the Raleigh City Council website for you to go do that. And this is helpful because if you have any issues or suggestions or anything that you really feel needs to be addressed by the Raleigh City Council, especially specifically within your local area, you can definitely email or get in contact with your city council member, and they can help you a lot more, being that they represent your area. So now I want to talk a little bit about what the Raleigh City Council does, and I guess just sort of intro them for you guys. So this is a mission statement off of their website, and it says the City Council is Raleigh's governing body consisting of 8 members who are elected for 2-year terms. 3 of the members, including the mayor, are elected at large, while the other members are elected from the 5 districts. The City Council sets city policy, enacts laws, and adopts the city budget each year. And so the members are here. We have Mary Ann Baldwin for mayor, Nicole Stewart, Jonathan Melton, Patrick Buffkin, David Cox, Corey Branch, Stormy D. Forte, who's new, and then David Knight. So you may remember in one of my previous videos titled A Guide on Petitions, I discussed ways to get involved, and one of them was to sign petitions that were directly addressed to a city council member and try to hold your elected officials accountable that way. Well, there's multiple ways to do that, and I'm going to discuss the rest of them here. And so City Council has a public comment period, and it's part of each City Council meeting, and you can participate in 2 different ways. You can, number 1, submit a written public comment to the City Council. You can do this by sending an email to cityclerkpetition@raleigh.nc.gov. That email will be linked below in case you guys need that. And your comments will either be read or summarized at the next City Council meeting. And so this only takes a few minutes, and you can send emails in support of someone else's cause or agenda, so such as firing the officer who murdered Keith Collins in January, or you could write an email in support of better transit for Raleigh, specifically downtown Raleigh. And you can also write a letter about, I don't know, skateboarders and trespassing laws, you know, and making sure that people aren't being unfairly targeted for that. And so there's a bunch of different things that you can write your city council about, and all of these written statements will be read at the meeting. And so it's a great way to get your message out and to support other causes and other organizations. Next way that you can get involved at the city council meetings is that you can actually speak at the city council meetings. They have a sign up on their website. Their website will be linked below. And so a lot of people spoke in June, and so they had only 1 minute to speak, except usually when they have speakers at these public hearings, you can speak up to 3 minutes long. And so if you want to state your case, share your agenda, or help another organization out, this would be a great way to get involved and make sure that you're being heard by local government, even as a teenager. And so the sign up will be on the website whenever that option is available and whenever spots aren't full, so make sure that you check back regularly for that. So if you're thinking maybe I don't want to submit anything myself, or I just want to keep up with city council and what my community is doing, then you can watch the public hearing live streams. I have linked them in the description below. They are on YouTube, and you can also find the archives on their website. And so you can also keep up with local government through watching city council meetings live. And so on these meetings, the city council members discuss certain things within their committees, and they also have work sessions where they sort of just get things passed and sort of think about like policies and other things that are part of the community. And so you can watch those also, which are separate from the public hearings but still offer a lot of great information. So the last way that I have to get involved with city council is to go to community held events. Sometimes city council members will show up at events held by social justice organizations. And so now, to be frank, the Raleigh City Council has not done a lot in terms of social justice fighting, especially for racial equity and the end of mass incarceration this year. And so while they did hold a meeting with community members in June after a protest that sparked after the death of George Floyd and the use of tear gas, rubber bullets, and other excessive forces on protesters, the council also approved a budget for the 2020 to 2021 year that did nothing to address the funding for a new police station in Southeast Raleigh, which is a predominantly black community within Raleigh, and nor did the budget defund the police in any way, shape, or form, or offer alternatives that aligned with social justice leaders' demands. And so it's important to note that while the city council has not done a lot in terms of social justice within the past year, they have the power to. The city council has the power to be powerful if we elect the right officials. And so Mayor Mary Ann Baldwin deemed that it was fitting to condescendingly address the justice leaders, the social justice leaders, at a meeting with, here's a little civics lesson. Well, I have a better civics lesson for you, and hopefully it's actually helpful. And so, I have a website. It's linked down below, the News and Observer, and it really goes over some of the things that happened in June's city council meeting that specifically had to do with the protest. And so go check those out for my sources. And so this is my civics lesson, or my little 2 cents on how you can help out with the next election and local leadership. And so Raleigh votes for a mayor every 2 years. Our election is in the fall of 2021, which is next year. And so if you're too young to vote, you can still help out by campaigning for another candidate that you think would be more fit to be mayor than the current mayor that we have right now. And campaigning can mean getting a youth position on their campaign team. I know a lot of my friends worked for different mayor candidates last year with Zainab Balok and others, or you can just simply reshare stuff from these candidates and make sure that their flyers are on your Instagram story, or if you have a Snapchat or a Twitter, be tweeting about the politics and maybe sharing on your Snapchat story a cool flyer or a panel that the candidate's going to be on. Social media can be a really powerful tool to get movements and to get campaigns out, and so if you really support somebody's values, then that would be a great way to help campaign and help do your civic duties, even if you can't vote for the next year and for the next mayor election. So, as you guys know, City Council isn't the only governing body in Raleigh. Raleigh is a part of Wake County, and so next up we have the Wake County Board of Education. And so the Board of Education has really similar policies to the Raleigh City Council. They have places where you can submit written statements and when you can speak at public hearings as part of the Board of Education. And so I have linked all of their stuff in the description below as well. So definitely go check that out if you have anything that's specifically relating to school or school policies. I'm part of the group, the Wake County Black Student Coalition, and they have been at almost every single board meeting since this summer, and so they have a lot of experience with that. And so if you want to go check them out, see what demands they have for the Wake County Board of Education, and I guess support them in their efforts, I have also linked their Instagram in the description below. And so I also wanted to say that the meetings were broadcasted live on YouTube, so as always, if you don't want to participate but you still want to be involved, you can go watch them there. And the Wake County Board of Education has meetings like every 2 weeks or so, and so they're pretty frequent, so you can really just check in wherever you want and see what's going on within your local community. So you may be wondering, how can I vote in the next election? And I have good news for you. If you are 17 now, but you'll be 18 by the time of the general election, you can still vote. If you're not 17, then you can't vote. But we have other alternatives for you further into the video. And so, since we're in the middle of a pandemic right now, it may seem like really risky to go out and stand in line. I know some places have lines for hours come election day, and it's a really important day, and it really shouldn't be this way, but being that it is, it's probably safer to do mail-in voting this year with COVID-19. And so, unlike President Trump suggests, only 2% of mail-in ballots have been linked to fraud, and mail-in voting will help secure your vote, and it's not fraudulent or dangerous. It's simply a safe way to vote. President Trump himself has voted with mail-in ballots for the last couple of years. And I actually did a video titled The Timeline. It was the second episode, and it had to do with race, politics, and economics, and it goes through the nitty-gritty facts of mail-in voting. And so if you want to go watch that, it will be linked below, and you can also go to our channel page to watch the rest of the Timeline videos. And so back to the topic, you can find the mail-in ballot and all of that information on the Wake County Board of Elections website, and there are steps to help walk you through that process. I have actually linked the form for an absentee ballot, and you may think, like, what's an absentee ballot? It's pretty much, it's what mail-in voting is. And so to get a ballot in the mail, you have to request an absentee ballot, and there's a form for that, and that's the form that I linked down below. And so make sure that even if you're not voting yourself, that your parents know about this, that they don't stand in line and possibly expose themselves to COVID, especially if they have pre-existing conditions. We want everybody to stay at home and to stay safe during the pandemic. And so definitely make sure that the adults in your life or the people, your parents, or anyone that you know that's eligible to vote, make sure that they have access to absentee voting and mail-in voting. So we are at the end of the video, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about how activism ties into voting and local leadership. And so hopefully you guys have learned a lot from this video. I just want to say quickly, a lot of people are desensitized from elections, or they're like, I don't care who president is, I don't care who the mayor is, Like, that's part of apoliticism, and honestly, it's a real privilege to not be directly impacted and affected by the actions that local leadership and local government makes. And so even if you're stable and comfy, and no matter who the president is or who the mayor is, like, you're living your best life, understand that a lot of people don't have that luxury. And so it's good to vote for them and vote for democracy itself. And so this goes into activism. Just with activism, it's about taking actions to really propel the causes and propel the movements that you care about, and make sure that change is made within your local community. And part of that change is the change of people in the office that you're voting for. You know, people can really bring about real change, and if you have the support of your local government, you can do so much more than if you don't. And so it's important to elect officials that really care about you, that care about your values, that care about you as a citizen, that care about your demographic, and that honestly care about democracy as a whole, and care about social justice, activism, and change as a whole. And so that's why voting and local government is so important when it comes to activism. So you reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. It was really fun to film. As I said before, everything is linked below in the description, so go check things out. Make sure that you comment, like, and subscribe if you really like the Weekly Web Activist videos. We are constantly growing our family, and applications are still open to become a member of the Weekly Web Activist or hold an executive position. And so just let me know if you're interested, and I really hope that you enjoyed this video. So this is Lydia, and make sure that you continue to be Weekly Web Activist. Thank you.